it was what it was. You know, I had a rough day in Melbourne, and I guess it started back before I even raced. I unfortunately went down in a pretty high speed crash about 2 weeks out, and that really sort of derailed a lot of the last minute plans with training and whatnot. And I just had to sort of get myself right leading into the race. And you know, I mean, people have lined up at races post crash and they're fine, and you know, that's what sort of the mentality that I took. You know, I knew that if I could get myself to the start line, I was going to be fine. And you know, unfortunately, I didn't swim how I wanted to swim in Melbourne. I lost the pack pretty early on in the swim. I just didn't have, those last 2 weeks out of the pool just really hurt me, and I swam really bad. And things just went from bad to worse when I got, trying to rush through transition, and I pulled the strap off the end of my helmet. And I mean, how many times, have you done that, in training or whatever, but you never think, well, that could happen in a race. And, I tried to fix it, and unfortunately, after my initial time I fixed it, I got about 5 minutes down the road and the whole thing fell apart again. And it was a fair way back, but I was pretty determined to make the most of the day. I knew that my, aspirations of trying to do well in the event were over. But at the end of the day, I got across the line. I got my Kona validation, which was good. And I had a really strong ride. I mean, on paper it didn't really reflect that. With I think I rode 4:35 or something. But considering I had about 10 minutes on the side of the road, it was a good ride. And I had a decent run. I wasn't really running for a good place, so I think it was hard early on. And then when I realised that I was catching some guys towards the end, then I sort of was able to come home strong. So I took a few good things away from it. But I mean, at the end of the day, the good thing is I've got my Kona validation done now, and now I can just focus on building up for that. I mean, obviously, after the disappointment of Melbourne, then flying home and then being up there at Oceanside watching the men's race, I was, a little bit of me wished I was out there. Jan was amazing in that race, and he really took it up a notch. I feel, like everyone is on notice now that Jan's going to be a big player in the long distance triathlon world. And well, I'm excited to see what he does at Frankfurt when he has his Ironman debut there. And I'm sure that he'll be on the Kona start line, and yeah, he's going to add a different dynamic to the race. The guy can swim with Andy Potts and ride with the best guys, and then he's outrunning them with ease. So I was just amazed at how easy he looked on the run up at Oceanside. And I think, that was, a good inspiration for me coming back off that result in Melbourne. It got me back into my training and, take notice. These guys are stepping it up, and you better be ready. We're really excited. We've done our last trip now to Australia, and now we're at home and we're nesting and getting ready for the baby. So it's an exciting time. I haven't had much experience with kids, so I'm learning a lot, and I'm just really excited. I can't wait to be a dad. I think it's going to be something that it's going to give me a lot of responsibility, and something to race for towards the end of my career. I've got a family to provide for now, and that's something that's really exciting for me too.